because the basics are what's going to win fights. Recently with the cartel now, Tyson Chartier, he's the coach down there. That's where a lot of grappling, where every kind of just gets meshed together.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Brendon, you return, man. CES 73. How you feel about that? It's pretty quick, right? What, less than 2 months?
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround, especially being inactive for about 2 years. But I felt great the last fight. We took almost no damage. So, when Tyson hit me up, he's like, "You want to fight again?" I was like, "Why not? We're in shape and might as well keep this momentum going."
I want to go back to the 2 years before your last fight. What was going on during that time? Why did you not compete?
So, yeah, I took some time off and, then COVID hit. That put everyone out of the game for about a year, I'd say, like almost no fights. And so I was like, all right, you get lazy, eat some food. But then when we tried to come back, I had about 2-3 guys fall out of fights. So, you go through a training camp, guy backs out, you go through another one. So I just found myself taking some time off and just developing my skills and developing a lot of things I needed to work on and getting rid of a lot of bad habits. So that's really what happened on those 2 years off. It was like half just isn't happening, and then half just taking some time off and getting better, working on some stuff.
Where were you working?
Looks, I had my couple of main coaches. Like I box down here in Haverhill downtown boxing. I got Ray Heber as a coach down here. He's phenomenal, and the boxing we've done down here is telegraphed towards MMA and bad habits and picking up a lot better ones. You know what I mean? Just crisping up the fine details. Ray down here really focuses on the basics and perfecting them, because the basics are what's going to win fights. Recently with the cartel now, Tyson Chartier, he's the coach down there. That's where a lot of grappling, where every kind of just gets meshed together. And there's a killer crew down there, a bunch of guys, UFC guys, Rob Fon, Calvin Cater, Nick Fieri, and then a bunch of, up and coming local guys. And then, worked with some wrestling coaches. But that's really where I've been. Kind of have a few coaches that's specific to my style. And, we work on our stuff and we bring everything together.
What were some of the bad habits, if you could reveal any, that you've just been able to like get rid of in that 2 years?
Yeah, a few bad habits I had, just basic, just maybe overthinking a lot of things and kind of using a lot of strikes and a lot of things that I just didn't need. Always trying to go, we always go for the finish, right? But there's ways to do it. And a few of the things we had to get rid of was just taking the arsenal we had, and the tools and the combos and everything from striking to wrestling, and just minimizing it and getting it to, this is what we're good at. This is what we're going to sharpen. And yeah, so that was a few of the bad habits, just, timing, footwork, and just kind of bringing everything tighter. And that it really worked out.
When was the point where you're like, all right, now I could actually, because you returned at Combat Zone 79, but before that, like, when did you know, like, okay, I'm ready. My bad habits, I fixed a lot of them. I'm ready to like test it out in some deep waters.
Yeah, so like I said, we worked a lot of things. We fixed a lot of bad habits, and probably about 6 or 9 months prior to this last fight, where it was training, not focusing on sparring too much, just focusing on technique. And then after that, start picking the sparring back up, and the sparring compared to, let's say, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, it was just different. I'm touching guys better, moving better, getting hit a lot less. And I'm like, wow, everything's really starting to come together. I was like, it's time. We got to get back in there, because we've doubled, tripled our skill base. And, I just thought it was time to get in there and, let people and remind people who I am.
In the last 2 years, Rob and Calvin, man, they've been fighting so often. So were you part of those camps as well, like helping them prepare?
No, I wasn't part of those camps. I've always been with Tyson Chartier as far as top game management. He managed and the coach. I just linked up with these guys about a month and a half prior to this last fight we just had.
All right. So still beneficial. You go in there in Combat Zone. How was the first round? You know, you haven't been in there for a while. Was it kind of shaky?
Yeah, it was weird. It kind of reminded me of like those amateur days where you get that adrenaline dump.
Mhm.
I haven't felt that in so long, and on good to feel it again. Because the last, as like your third or fourth pro fight, you get used to it. Not to say you don't get nervous. Anyone that says they're not nervous or a little afraid, like you're a liar. But it was good to get that adrenaline back, and I was like, whew, like,
Mhm.
it's kind of like the first time again. It felt good, and it honestly gives you like a nice boost of energy.
In the second round, you got the TKO finish. Did you see something like in the first round, you know, going through and getting into those exchanges that opened something up in that second round? How did the finish come for you?
Absolutely. So in that first round, once I touched him once or twice, it was takedowns. All
Mhm.
he wanted was takedowns, and that was a tell right for me off the bat. He doesn't want to stand and exchange shots. He doesn't want to kick. He doesn't want to box with me, because once you touch a guy and he's desperately trying to shoot on you, you just know he wants no part of it. So we weathered that early storm. Um, and in round two, he tried shooting a few more times. We stuffed all those, and we just stand it back up. And then I knew if I just kept touching him with the basic stuff that me and my boxing coach work, jab, cross hook, eventually he's going to drop, and that's what he did. So I just kept a nice steady pace on him and knew and trusted that we keep touching him, he's going to go down.
Dana White was there. Did you get to talk to him, you know, conversate with him a little bit or anything like that?
No, I didn't. I jumped on, obviously we jump on the cage,
Mm,
Mike, told him, you're looking for a businessman, a showman, you gotta give me that, because like a lot of fighters nowadays, they're in it and win, but understand the fact that not only do you have to win fights, you have to be entertaining.
yeah.
You go into the UFC, win 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fights where you get a title shot, and then you got guys like iconic Conor McGregor,
Mhm.
guys that they get in there and they understand both sides of the business. So I want to make that clear to them. Not only am I here to fight anyone, anytime, anywhere, but I'm what the crowd wants. I'm entertaining, and I'm gonna go for the finish.
For sure. And so, you know, with this fight coming up at CES, did you know like maybe like a week after that fight, like, okay, I'm gonna be returning real quick, or did it take a couple weeks to just, you know, get someone matched up?
Yeah, no, probably like a week or two. I was ready to get back in there. Obviously after the win, after a win, you're like on cloud nine. Everyone feels so great. You're like, get me back in there, and then for the next few days you're a little sore, a little kinked up. But
Mhm.
within the week or two, I knew I was ready to get back in there. And Tyson was like, "Hey, here's some names. You want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We feel good. Everything's fine. So why not?"
What did you not like about that performance when you look back at it?
The gas tank.
Mm,
So I'm a 145er, but my last two fights I fought at 155,
mm,
and even though you have more, maybe the weight cut's not as hard, but what I didn't like about that last fight was just my cardio endurance. Coming off a 2-year layoff, cutting all the way down to 155, because obviously with 2 years I gained some weight, and
mhm.
yeah, that was just it. Just the cardio endurance. I'm usually going. I can go, 5.5s, no problem. High pace the whole time. I'm in your face. But, so gassy in round two, and that's not my style. So that's the only thing I really didn't. The cardio sloppy at some point.
So this one is at 145. You know, is that something that you wanted to do? It's like, okay, I gotta, you know, since I returned, now I gotta get back to my normal weight and fight a couple before, you know, trying to get signed.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to, get that weight cut down. It's been a few years since I went to 145. It's better to get that weight cut going in, more local promotions rather than the big
Mhm.
leagues. And, I know I'm right on the doorstep of the UFC. So I definitely get back to my home, my weight class at 145. Um, I'm not the biggest 145er, but I'm on the bigger side. I'm a lot faster at featherweight, and for a featherweight, I hit like a lightweight. So that's definitely the biggest benefit that I have going down to that weight class is I have power on a lot of these guys.
Regivaldo Carvalho. What do you think of him?
Yep. Hey, I don't overlook anybody. Anyone can hurt anyone on every given night, but that doesn't mean I'm not going out there to, put his lights out. He comes out, he's aggressive. He likes ripping 1-2s. He rips heavy leg kicks, and he's game. He's in your face, and he wants to come out. But he's good. But going in against a guy like me, my style, I don't want to give too much, but it's just he's gonna find that there's a difference between throwing everything you got with power and speed, compared to timing and skill. So I'm excited for it. I know he's going to bring the game. He's going to get in my face, and we're going to give the crowd a good show.
It's a shorter camp, but not nowadays fighters, they talk about like not even really having a camp. It's just like a different version of training heading into a fight. Is that like what it is for you moving forward? Is you're going to always train? It's just if there's a fight, I make a couple switches and that's it.
Stay in shape so you don't have to get in shape. More my amateur days and my beginner pros, it's like, all right, we're training. All right, 8 weeks out, we're going to go hard. Where this camp kind of just rolled into the next one. And it's kind of like camp nonstop. We stay ready instead of having to get ready. And obviously towards the end, you pick up your sparring a little bit, you pick up your cardio, you run more. But other than that, I like flowing the whole way through. I'd rather keep that pace at 75%. So I can take a fight. If someone calls me on 2 weeks notice, the big leagues, I know I can take a fight on a week or 2 weeks notice and just rip up.
Joining the New England Cartel and training with those guys, how has that, benefited you and, impacted you?
Just the environment of the people. Those guys are a great team, and everyone, it works to have everyone that has the same goal around you. Cause days you're feeling a little high, when the motivation's not there, people, they're going in and they're motivated that day. And it works to have everyone on the same path. Cause, every time maybe you get off track a little bit, blah, 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 you don't feel like training. You're like, nope, I got to show up. The guys are there. We're all working. We're all grinding. And it's good to have a room full of guys, like I said, that are on the same goal, because everyone's pushing themselves, which pushes each other. Everyone's trying to better themselves and better their teammates at the same time.
Yeah, man. It seems like you're not having any problems getting fights now compared to, a couple years back. So it seems like you could probably get a few in this year. What are you expecting in this upcoming fight out of yourself? What kind of performance?
I'm always, like I said, I'm always looking for the finish. I'm not going out there wild, not going out there crazy, but I throw my shots, I throw my hands with dangerous intentions. But I'm going to pick the shots. I'm going to find them, and I'm always looking for the finish. So when I see it, I'll drop heavy bombs on them, but I don't want to give too much away, but the crowd knows I'm always looking for a finish. I'm going to be in the guy's face the whole time. And I don't think it's going to go all 3 rounds. So, the crowd can definitely stay on their feet. They're not going to want to sit down for this one.
Yeah, patience is key, right? So, you mentioned it that, throughout the last 2 years of you just developing, you got rid of the bad habits and being able to pick shots. And it's so important, man, instead of just rushing in there all wild, right? Some guys,
Yeah.
it works for them.
Yep. Especially when you run into guys, once we're getting up to these higher level pros that we're at, everyone can fight. Everyone can take a shot. You can't just go out there and empty your gas tank. Sure, maybe if you go wild, you might clip him with one and he might go down. But if you don't, you're now gassed, and you're on the other end of the stick. So that's another thing me and my boxing coach worked on is, picking our shots, staying busy with our hands, but conserving that energy until we find the shots that are going to hit. So, just staying busy, staying active, but don't blow your load too early. It's all about rhythm. Some shots are here, some are here, bop, bop, and then you'll find the big shots.
For sure, man, for sure. May 12th, CES 73. Make sure you go follow Brendon on social media. Thank you so much, man, and all the best in this fight.
Hey, thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it. And yeah, come on down, guys. It's going to be quite the show. You don't want to miss this.